not a YouTuber, just like making videos. And this one here, I'm going to talk about controlled environments, or my opinion of. I remember a science fiction book I read when I was younger. I think it was called The Web of the Chosen. It was about these people who lived on this planet. And this planet was controlled by a mother brain or some sort of supercomputer. I don't remember if the computer lived inside the planet or it was just a satellite orbiting the planet. But the supercomputer gave everybody all their needs. You know, the inhabitants of this planet did not have to work. They didn't have to do anything. Just live and breathe. You know what I'm saying? The supercomputer controlled all the climate, controlled everything. And robots did all the menial labor, like gather up all the crops. And some of these humans, inhabitants of this planet, thought they were in some sort of paradise or whatever. But there was a couple of people that figured out what was going on, that people were just being turned into sheep. Everything was being controlled for them, and they themselves were being controlled, but they didn't know. They were manipulated in believing that they had this sort of freedom, or they thought that they were better than other people in other solar systems because they don't have to work. They figured out a way that, you see what I mean? But but little did they know that they were they had no control over themselves, that all the power became to the supercomputer or whatever. Now I think about this how we're being controlled, and I would say that there's 3 steps of control, or 3 major ones, are controlled environments. Now first you have the prison, which that's, I'm like, you're just a gallery number, They tell you when to eat, when to sleep, and so forth. And then you have the poor community, or more specific, the black community. And then you have society overall, that we're all in some sort of controlled environment and we have to go by some sort of rules. I understand that. And the thing is, it's about getting people comfortable, in their environment. Just like that science fiction book that I read. People, when they're comfortable and relaxed, they don't rebel all too often. But I'm not going to give you a whole big spiel about how we're all slaves and the government control us. I'm going to specifically focus on the black community. Why? Because this is a black channel. We talk about stuff that's black. And the thing is, I think about, the poor, urban, the squalid type neighborhoods, and, the projects. And some of these black men, a good portion of our population, some of these black men who don't want to work, who think that they've got it all figured out. They feel that working is for suckers, and tossed around the term modern day slavery. And I think about how it's gonna put a dent in the black labor force. See, the thing is, with the powers that be, with the white man, he doesn't want to compete, with the black man on any sort of level. He want to put the black men to the side or whatever, whether it be in the corporate offices, or or a simple bricklaying job, or doing road construction. And by doing so, he puts the black man in a very controlled environment. where in the black man thinks that, where the black man has all his needs and he simply doesn't have to work. Let's see, let me tell you about the power of the labor force. As much as people say, oh, you're all slaves and so forth. Throughout history, human history, the peasants, the farmers, the sharecroppers or whatever, a lot of times, rebelled against the monarchs or whatever, because even though these people, whether they did, picked coffee beans day in and day out, eventually they, there's a force there, there's a collective there, and that collective can be very dangerous. Think about blacks, when we first left slavery, when we were emancipated, so to say, we worked all sorts of menial jobs for peanuts. We were sharecroppers, we were in the white people's houses, cleaning out their toilets, raising their children for nothing. Some black people had their own business, but it wasn't this black utopia like people say. But still, even with blacks, making crumbs, we had a labor force there. And I think about the brotherhood of the sleeping car, the sleeping box car. I got that name misconstrued, how these porters, I would say, and how they were getting paid, they wasn't getting paid as much as the white dudes, and how they wanted to protest or whatever, show their strength, show their force. They were going to march in Washington, D.C., which it was hijacked by the civil rights movement, by the Kumbaya, by white people and black people holding hands and whatever, which was explained in Malcolm X's biography. So you see these guys, these black dudes, even though they were working for the white man, they were still needed, and so, so when they protest, it was going to cause the shockwaves. Same thing with the bus boycott. Even though a lot of these people couldn't afford a car or whatever, they worked mundane jobs. But once they felt that they was going to boycott and not ride the bus, it was going to dent their pockets. So that's the thing. Do not underestimate the power of the labor force. No matter what it is, with white people, you had they created the labor union. You had Jimmy Hoffa, you're talking about a dude who clashed head on with the president of the United States, and this was the dude who gathered up support from the common man, even though Jimmy Hoffa was a corrupt individual and so forth, but still, the governments, the powers that be, understand the power of of the peasants, of what they can do, so it's almost like the power that be is trying to tell us, like, yeah, believe that working a regular job is modern day slavery. Don't work at all, and a lot of these guys who don't work, they don't understand how they're pawns, how they're being tooled, how they're being suckered and fooled. I think about the Mexicans, and the Mexicans are a prime example. How these guys are coming over here, and some of them don't even have damn shoes on their feet. 20 of them packed up in back of a pickup truck. And how, people laugh at them and mock them, because they don't know how to speak English, and they're working these triple D jobs, doing roofing or whatever. But then I look at the Mexican grocery stores, these Mexican food mugs, all these Mexican restaurants popping up, and I'm seeing whole entire apartment complexes change names, have a regular name like Pine Oaks, and now it's like a Mexican name like La Semillanta or something that Mexicans control, and now Mexicans moved in. Mexicans are moved into an apartment complex, and now they changed the name. I'm like, this is real serious, and all of this, and a lot of their power and support comes from their labor force or whatever. Even though, you can say that they're slaves, they're putting it together, they're becoming a powerful collective. And this goes into blacks, and of course we have a lot of black, dudes. The majority of blacks have jobs, they're correction officers, bus drivers, or whatever. But we have a population of black men who don't want to work, who want to live under females, who want to live in a controlled environment. Now take prison for example, and how so many black men are comfortable in that environment. There's dudes who would rather sit inside a jail cell and be called their gallery number than go out here and work a job. You know what I'm saying? It's truth. And they run in and out of jail, like it's no big deal. You know what I'm saying? That's why they call it rehabilitation, because you're going to go right back in that same, you're going to re-enter the same habitat that got you locked up in the first place. It's like a revolving door. When I worked at the jail, they said it was a revolving door for inmates and the correctional officers, because a lot of correctional officers quit, and they got to hire a new batch. They'll hire dudes in batches. And when you think about it, I'm like, it's crazy. So you got men, look at the movie Baby Boy. You have a lot of black men who aren't productive, who live in the projects or whatever, and their basic needs are taken care of, food and shelter, and they live with, these women, and they procreate with them, and they don't understand that they're part of a grand design. I'm like, these are the last black men to ever get up and take a trip to Africa or take a trip or on any vacation. It's like they're completely stagnant, but they think that they got it all figured out. They'll look at people who work jobs as suckers and so forth, and that as slaves and that. You won't get anywhere. Now, that's partially true about, people, just trapped in debt. I understand that. But that's the thing, is to make people comfortable. The thing is, blacks, only rebel when there's an incident that happens. The Watts riots, things that have to push us over the edge. There should be times when we should just wake up in the morning and say, hey, I don't like our position. Let's just riot just for the hell of it. You know what I mean? We only riot Trayvon Martin or the Rodney King verdict and things of that nature. But yeah, so, we have to understand, and that, and the thing is, a lot of these dudes, and it creates a rift there, a friction between black people who want to be productive members of society and be taxpayers, and blacks that just want to be ignorant sleuth butts. Just like you have a lot of blacks that want to go into the entertainment industry, whatever. You ask a lot of these urban kids, and so in these public schools, they want to be a professional athlete or a rapper, and so you have a lot of black men, that just won't do anything with their life, but they'll pursue a rap career or whatever, and then they'll rap, and their thing is either they're going to be, live in avid poverty or be rich and balling. There's no in between. There ain't no, hey, I come from poverty, but now let me just move and just have a mortgage and just finance a car and and live the life of middle America. No, it's either here or or living extreme, living at that status where you got 6 figures in the banks or whatever, and you're really balling and you're really rolling. It's so, and that's the thing. And then they live in a controlled environment, where they don't want to, they do very little rebellion, they shoot each other and kill each other, shoot each other, they kill each other. And the thing is, a person, the typical male, heterosexual male, he lives his life for females, he'll go out to college and get him a nice job and groom himself, get him a nice car, all this to appeal to the opposite sex. But in this realm, this really controlled environment, that the white man created. He told the black man, you know what I'm saying, you don't need all this, you can bypass all that, and then the black female was brainwashed into thinking that this is the best she can get. It's, you know what I'm saying, that, she questions her beauty and her wealth, and that, she'll even take validation from a black man who has nothing going for himself, you know what I mean, just to procreate and live in this environment and so forth. I'm like, in a stalemate, And the thing is, especially with the projects, in my city, all the ran down, the really decrepit looking project buildings, they're doing away with them, you know what I'm saying, they destroyed them. And then they rebuild them. You know what I'm saying? They rebuilt them. There's these particular projects called the Meadows that was just really dilapidated. And you know what I'm saying? They destroyed them and they rebuilt them, and they look nice now. They got balconies. I'm like, they look. You wouldn't know that they were the projects. Unless you know what I'm saying, if you drove by them, you thought that they were just nice apartment buildings, and they are very nice. And you know what I'm saying, and this is to get people, you know what I'm saying, who lives, you know what I'm saying, off of subsidies or whatever, comfortable. Now I would say that the typical black woman who lives, you know what I'm saying, that lives off the government or whatever, she does work her job. She is a taxpayer, so it's not like, oh, she's using taxpayers' money. She does, and that's the sad part, that these women, because all you have to do is, when you go into a black neighborhood and you look at some of these jobs, I'm like, who's working there? Who's the main ones working at Walmart? You know what I'm saying? Black people, particularly black females, Same thing with McDonald's and Taco Bell. If there ain't Mexicans working there, it's pretty much dominated by black women working there. Especially Popeye's chickens and Church's chickens. So you ask yourself, well, where's the black man at? I mean, he's, sitting at home watching bootleg DVDs. The same thing with, a lot of these black females who strip. And these black dudes, they run in and out of jail. I'm like, there's no penalty for their consequences. So why would they you know what I'm saying, they want to do something for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Why should they elevate? They're saying to themselves, hey, I got it good in my position. You know what I'm saying? Why should I go out there and get a job like a square? I got my female here. I got a roof over my head. The white man just built a very state-of-the-art projects. We got washing and drying machines now. I'm like, he's living. We got air conditioning. I'm like, so why? You know what I mean? Just like those people that was in that science fiction book I read. When they live the life where they don't have to work, where they're being controlled by the supercomputer, they're figuring to themselves, why should we have to work? You know what I'm saying? Irrigate crops or do something. It's already done for us. And that's the thing with with a lot of these black dudes. And when they built these new projects or whatever and built them up, I mean, these black dudes were just, they moved right along again, and this would cause a whole lot of problems. And I think about the prison system, you know what I'm saying? I used to work there in the penal system. A lot of the females or a lot of the CEOs were black women. Some of them was very nice black women that come from the hood. And that's another thing that's going to make the black men comfortable in that environment. I'm like, he's locked up and now he got the females, same females who was messing around with the streets. You know what I mean? She's working there. And yes, my years working in this the correctional facility, I've seen so many black females. I can't even count my 4 years in it who got that walk. That's what we call them. They'll get walked out. When a CEO is doing something, when he's caught trafficking, or you know what I'm saying, or having relations with the inmate, congregating with the inmates, they get walked out. You know what I'm saying? The higher ups, they wait till they come to work. It's not like they find out and they call them at home and say, don't come back to work, we caught you. You know what I mean? They come back to work. They come to work. They humiliate them. They come to work. They tell them to sit in their office, and they throw all this evidence at them, you know, and tell them to turn in your badge, and then they walk them out. You know what I mean? See, that's the thing. So the system, or it's like, you know what I'm saying, is to get the black man comfortable inside the penal system, and give the black man comfortable inside the hood and the ghetto. That's why rap music, all this is conditioning. You know what I mean? It's easy to figure out. That's why the music, which, you know what I'm saying, they control too. You know what I mean? It's constantly talking about the ghetto, the hood, the ghetto, the hood. I'm gonna die in the streets, live and die in the hood, get rich and die trying to. Man, that's all programming. Now, I would agree that Americans all together, you know, are being programmed. White people too, but white people at least can get the most out of life. You know what I mean? Have a longer life expectancy. You know, take vacations or whatever, or live in nice manicured neighborhoods, and still, you know what I'm saying, they're being looked out for or whatever. As of blacks, we're not being looked out for at all. You know what I mean? We're still being ran. We're like a stick in the mud. But the point is, you know what I mean, to have us laxed in this environment. You know, and you know, and it's not that the slave, you know, the white man pressed the black woman against the black man. It's black people against black people, and that's why, you know what I'm saying, you have some black people wanting to exterminate a certain population or whatever, are feeding to the rhetoric of these Bojangles and so forth, because they simply do not like this, you know what I'm saying, this section, this population of us that are very stationary with this hood, you know, or whatever. And you know what I'm saying, I guess that's the term about waking people up. But the thing is, it's hard to get through these black dudes, you know what I mean, because a lot of them, they don't want to work, you know what I mean. I have a friend, a female friend, and her brother, and he's one of these guys by a long shot. I don't think this dude ever worked a day in his life, you know. And he literally says that he's too pretty to work. You know, now looking at this guy's physical stature, I'm like, he's tall, you know what I'm saying, he got shoulders, he got long dreadlocks, you know, he got the kind of the chinky eyes, you know, and he has that look that, you know what I'm saying, the typical female will find him attractive, a nice looking, tall, you know what I'm saying, golden skinned black man, and he's got like 5 children, 3 baby mothers, 5 children. I think he got another one on his way. I know because my female friend take care of 2 of his children, you know what I'm saying, her nieces or whatever, and he doesn't do a goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? So how are you going to get through that dude to wake up? You know, when that dude probably figures he got it all laid out. He's like, I can get women to buy me stuff. You know, I can get women to put a roof over my head. You know, so why should I have to take care of my kids? You know, so why should I do anything? I'm too, you know what I'm saying, look at me, I'm too pretty to get my, you know what I'm saying, to get dirt under my nails. And it's not about, you know what I'm saying, working the hard, strenuous job. Sometimes they don't even want to work a job where you can, a driving job or whatever. And the killer part is that these people are procreating, they're multiplying. You know, and their children don't have a good example or what a man is. You know what I'm saying? So it's a sad cycle. And the killer part is these dudes actually would look at dudes like me as squares. You know what I mean? As lames. You know, because I work. Because they're like, look at him. You know what I mean? He has to go out there and he has to really impress the female. You know what I mean? He got to wait till he gets paid, get a paycheck to take a female out on a date. I don't have to do. I can just sit around, play video games, and watch bootlegs. You know, and these black women, they've been brainwashed to accept this, to feel that this is the only way that they're going to get love, and that they'll be able to hold a man or pin a man down or think a man can love them. You know, it's I'm like it's almost, you know, just like that science fiction book I read. You know what I mean? Called, I gotta look that book up on the internet. I think it's called Web of the Chosen and reread it. Maybe that book was a big metaphor for black people and so forth. But you know, but the thing is, and this is what a lot of people have said about the black woman, and that she has the ability to turn the tables around in the black community by having higher standards than men. But I understand, you know what I'm saying, I like to insert the concept of human error in human nature, that it's just, you can't just expect people to snap out of it, you know, all of a sudden. And you know what I'm saying, people say that if the black woman has just a higher standard of men, you know what I'm saying, require her men to work a job or whatever, I can understand that it can change the black community, but you know, it's more complex than that. Alright, that's all I want to say. Thanks for watching, and Sally Forth.